means I was asked ages ago to do a video on my top 10 MAC products. I have painstakingly made lists over this and I could not come down to just 10, so I have cheated and made it my top 12. But I could have put so many more in, so I've actually negated to put in concealers, foundation, mascara, even though I absolutely love them. I love their brow gel, I love their sculpting gel, powder, so there's lots of things that aren't contained in here because I wanted to keep it down to as close to a top 10 as I possibly could. But these are the top 12 items for me. I absolutely love them. So without further ado and without further waffling, let's get started. So the first thing I'm actually going to talk about is a limited edition product, unfortunately, but it's definitely a product that I wanted to mention. Now, I love MAC eyeshadows. Some people will say, oh, they're not very good, they're not very pigmented, but you have to try them. You can't just make that comment because you've seen people's swatches online. And I say this because I've seen people's swatches on products that I've got, and I got, was it the Rihanna quad? And everybody was saying, oh, it swatches really badly and it's just really poor, but when you use it with a brush, it's so beautiful on. So you haven't always got to go off what people's swatches are. You really should go in the store if you can and check it out for yourself, because I find that their eyeshadows are actually really great. Yes, some of them are not overly pigmented, but all brands are guilty of that. However, MAC are rebranding their eyeshadows now, so apparently the quality is a lot better, so that is really good news. But I love MAC eyeshadows, and I do have a video on my favourite MAC eyeshadows, which I will link below for you. But this section I'm actually going to talk about the Electric Cool shadows, which I said are limited edition. They are coming out with the A Novel Romance collection, not the whole amount though. There were 12 originally when they were released, and I did purchase all 12 over a period of time because I basically got a number of them and fell in love with them. I thought they were totally amazing. Now, the one that I wanted to show you, I can't because I've run out of it, so I can literally not wait until it's released so I can get another one because I used it all the time, and that one is Blacklit, which is just a black with sparkles in. It's so beautiful. These apply better with fingers than they actually do with a brush. You can use a very dense hard bristled brush. I have used the Tease brush before, which I can't find right now, which is just so typical. Yeah, this one. This was in a Glossy Box, but you can purchase this. It's actually quite dense and thick, and the flat edge is great for applying them, but I actually just find that they work better with fingers. I always use them over a base because I find they don't look as pigmented and don't last as long without a base, so they do really need a base. And also they do work really well over colours, so the coloured ones, I have all of them like I said. If I put a purple eyeshadow on, I might pat the purple one, which I think is highly charged, over the top of it to add that bit more drama and sparkle and intensity. But yeah, I mean, you can use them alone. But this one is Pure Flash, and there is a limited edition one coming out this time, which I probably will get. That is what this one looks like, and they are very spongy to the touch and kind of mouldable. I'm not going to swatch everything in this video, but I did want to show you these. This is really pretty. It's kind of a very pale peachy gold sort of shimmer. Really, really nice, that one. And then my other favourite other than Blacklit was Coil, and this is just the most stunning copper ever. I love this colour, and that's what it looks like. Absolutely gorgeous, and as you can see, there's a big dent in that one. They are very mouldable, so when you press in them it will leave the indentation of your finger, and you can move them around in the pot. They're very unusual. Apparently they do have a new formulation this time round. I know many people didn't like these the first time round, but you can't compare them to the Super Bounce shadows, which I think were very poor. I don't have one, so I can't really comment because I always feel like you should try a product yourself before you can really say, but I know a lot of people didn't like them. But these are just fantastic. I love the packaging. They're in these little pots that you just kind of screw the lid off. Really, really nice. So I love the Electric Cool shadows, and like I said, I've had those probably for over a year now and they've not dried out, so that's really good news as well. The next item I'm going to talk about actually does not have enough hype in my opinion, and those are the casual colours. These are in these little sort of pots like this, and I have two to show you. One from the first time they were released. This one's called Have a Lovely Day, which is just a lovely mid-tone muted dusky pink colour. That's what it looks like. and that's what it looks like there. Now what I love about these is they're great for the cheeks and they're also great for the lips. Now I wear them both ways. I have 8 of these, 2 which I picked up in the recent Playland collection and the other 6 from the first time round. I think there were 8 the first time round, but 2 of them didn't really appeal to me. But I love wearing these. I love stippling them on the cheeks. I tend to use the stippling brush from Real Techniques, and I also have more denser brushes. I have one from MAC that I also like to use, and I basically just get it onto the brush and then stipple it onto the cheek area. It provides colour, but it also has a little bit of a nice glow about it. It is a cream product, it has a slight stickiness, but that soon dries, and it just leaves a lovely colourful sort of glow to the cheeks. Really beautiful. So underrated, absolutely gorgeous. A little goes amazing a long way. There is quite a dint in this one. I do use this one quite a lot, but so beautiful and so amazing on the lips. Incredibly long lasting, feel very moisturising. I just apply with the fingers for these, but Have a Lovely Day is probably one of my favourite colours. And then from the recent Playland collection, Young at Heart. So Young at Heart is just very bright, intense pink. And I've worn this one on the lips and it's super pretty on the lips. So gorgeous. Really creamy pink colour. Absolutely lovely. So I highly rate those. So casual colours. If you have not tried these yet, then definitely do. They are definitely worth it. Like I said, they're great multitasking products. They're great. You can apply them to your cheeks with your fingers. Just pop them in your handbag and, you know, you can top up your lips or your cheeks at any time of the day, and they're really great and so long lasting on the skin. So I definitely highly recommend these little babies. Right, the next item I'm going to talk about, I'm not sure if these have been discontinued, they may have, and it's the strobe lotion and strobe cream. I have both. The strobe cream is quite intensely moisturising. It's more recommended for dry skin, and the lotion is recommended for more oily skin. Now I have combination skin. I find that the lotion works well for me in the summer and the cream works well for me in the winter. But also I do find that the cream works better as a highlight for me. I do like to dab it onto the cheek area, on the brow bone and inner eye corner, so this works really well to highlight with. The lotion works a lot better if I add it to foundation. I add this to foundation to give the foundation a little bit of an extra glow. It gives your skin such a beautiful sort of ethereal, lit from within glow. Absolutely love it. As you can see, I'm halfway through it. I will try and source this actually because I'm not too sure whether they're going to be selling it anymore. I can't understand why. But I think it's because basically once you've bought this, I've had this a couple of years and I've only used half of it and I use it a lot. So a little of this goes such a long way. I use one tiny pump into foundation for my face and it makes such a difference, but you literally need the tiniest amount. So, and this is just a sample of the cream. I do have the £12 size. They did a promotion 2012 actually, and you put a code in December and you got basically the £12 size for free, but I have samples, so I'm trying to use the samples up before I use that. So yes, strobe lotion and strobe cream, definitely products that are so worth having. I love these products. So the next items I'm going to mention in my top 12 are actually reasonably recent items for me. I've only had them a couple of months, but I literally could not be without them now, and I do use them a lot. And those are the CC powders. I'm not sure if they still do them, but they should do. But I do have 3. I have Neutralise, which is the yellow colour, which is great to neutralise red areas. I do get redness on my nose. With my allergies and stuff, I do get irritated skin on my nose from blowing it so much sometimes. I also have redness on my cheeks occasionally. This is great. You can use it over foundation, under foundation, whatever you do. I tend to use this. I always use a priming powder, so I prime my face and then I use the neutralizer to neutralise the red before I put anything on top of it. So I actually use this before foundation. And then the next one is called Illuminate, which is the lilac one. This is really great to kind of illuminate sort of dull areas of your skin and just make them appear a lot brighter. And that's that one. Absolutely gorgeous. And I love this one, but I tend to apply this after I put my foundation on, just to illuminate certain areas like under the eye area mostly, sometimes up on my cheekbones, but it's absolutely wonderful stuff. And then the last one that I've got is called Adjust. Now this one's really great. Some days I can be really pale because I'm pretty ill, and I just find that if I put my makeup on and I'm still looking like a ghost, they can look frightening because they are so coloured. That is the peach shade. This just so brightens up your skin, so when I'm really white and really drawn, I put this all over my face and it just makes me look so much brighter instantly, and it just makes my skin look a lot healthier and more awake. They're also really very finely milled, so they feel very velvety smooth on the skin. So they're really nice for you to put other products on top of. They're very equivalent to sort of the priming powders that you can use before you actually put anything on. So I just find that, you know, they sit really nicely on the skin, and it doesn't affect like the makeup when you put it on, doesn't make anything crack or cake. Just really nice, just does what it needs to do, and that's it. The Illuminate as well, I do use that under makeup. Sometimes if I forget, I put it on over and it really makes no difference, and like I said, I do put that on over makeup. So I highly recommend these. There is another one, but I think it's really not so much for me. I think it's quite dark, but these three are totally fantastic. I use them loads and I would highly recommend them. The next item I'm going to mention are lip mixers. I keep mine in here, it's just quite useful to keep them in here. I have 8 colours and I have the base, Clear Satin. So this is the Clear Satin base that you use with them. They are very, very dry, so they're very difficult to work with unless you use them with something. If you prime your lips, or maybe you want to use something else, maybe Vaseline or something, but I find the lip mix is really nice. You need a tiny dot of it and it's incredibly moisturising and smooth and fluid, so it's just really lovely. It feels great on the lips. And then basically a dot of this and a dot of this literally will do your whole lip. These are so intense and so highly pigmented. I don't think I've actually shared my collection of these before, so I might as well quickly show you the colours that I've got, because like I said, I don't have a lot. I have white, high def cyan, blue, I think it's burgundy, is this fuchsia? Fuchsia, so you can't really tell a lot of difference between some of these, black, and then I have red and crimson, and they're so stunning. This red colour is, oh, so beautiful. Let me do a little swatch of this one. Some of them can be very stiff to use, but some of them are not, so you want to squeeze very gently because you don't want a lot of product out. But that's a little dot of it there. And you will be able to see more colour it when I swatch, because, you know, it does go quite a long way. And that's the colour there, so as you can see. It's beautiful. It's a very bright sort of red. Absolutely gorgeous. Love that. And they're basically like OCC lip tars in the fact that you can mix them together. I find they're actually better quality than OCC lip tars because they feel a lot thicker. Some OCC lip tars are quite thick, but I don't feel they're as thick as the MAC lip mixers. I wish that they did more colours in the range. I've got pretty much all of them here, but I think there's a nude one, there's a yellow, there's an orange, but those are colours I wouldn't get as much use out of, whereas all the reds and the burgundies I'd wear alone. I'd wear the black on its own. The white makes a great base, but it also means I can lighten up some of these reds and mix them. The fuchsia is stunning, and I just love the blues because they're great to make purples with. And I want to use this in a Halloween look I've got planned for, but you definitely do need some kind of a lip mix base to go with them. The Clear Satin's fantastic because, like I said, it makes them fluid and easy to work with. I have tried these on my lips without, and it's awful, quite patchy, very difficult to work with, so you definitely need something to make them more fluid, but I do think they're an amazing product. And I just think that if you're looking for a lip colour that's just going to last you such a long time, and in a hygienic format, then the lip mixers are great. You only get out as much as you need. It's hygienic because you're not applying it directly to your lips, and literally they're so pigmented, they go such a long way, so they will last you a long time. The next item I'm going to talk about are paint pots. I only have, how many do I have? I have 6 paint pots in total, and 2 chromoline gels, because I always think of myself as having more of these, but they're actually chromoline gels. But paint pots are fantastic. I love them. They make great bases for your shadows to go on, but they're also beautiful colours, like finishing colours, and I have kind of 2 examples here to show you. So I have this one, which is a fantastic base for my skin colour, and just a colour that's very pretty on its own. This one is Painterly, which is kind of a, I don't know, pale minky sort of light beige colour. Really, really gorgeous. They apply so beautifully. They never crease on me and they last a really long time on the lids, so I absolutely love them. They're only little pots, but a little of this goes such a long way, so this will last you ages. I find it's better to store them upside down. It's not also great because you can see the colours and the names, but it also seems to be better for the formulation to make them last longer. Don't ask me why. I also store other cream shadows this way as well, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure why that's the case, but it is, so it's better to store them like lid down. And then the other one, this one is so beautiful. I wear this loads. In fact, I wear it so much I had to get a backup of it. It was a limited edition one and it's called Fancy Frosting. I love this. I have this obsession with doing like a light brown pinky crease and then doing this on the lid. It's so beautiful and sparkly and so pretty. Like I said, I do have a backup of this one, but it's basically just a frosty sort of white colour. Really, really stunning. I love it. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, paint pots. The next items on my list are fluid line gels. I actually only have 2 of them, but I absolutely love them, so I wanted to share them with you. I have a limited edition one and one from the standard collection. The one from the standard collection, this is the second one I've had. The first one I had around 18 months, didn't dry up on me at all. I used the whole entire little tub. A little of this goes a long way as well, so I find, like I said, I used it for 18 months and I was using it a lot. I was using it several times a week. When I first got it, I used it every day. I was so obsessed. But it's fantastic. This one is Black Track. I just use an angled brush with it. I quite like these Barry M angled brushes. This is the old packaging. I think they've got pink or white handles now. But I'll do a little line. Well, I'll not do a little one, I'll do a thick one so you can see how intense it is. Such a beautiful, intense colour. It never budges on me. It stays true all day. I find it easy to do wings with as well because it's not too smudgy. It's just such an amazing gel liner. It is like my holy grail. It is one of my favourite MAC products ever. So I love that. And then the limited edition one that I got is called Black Ivy. I can't remember what collection this was in, to be fair. It might have been the Moody Blooms. But that's what it looks like. It's just a very dark green colour. It's so pretty. I love this one as well. It's a greeny bluey teal colour and it's just something a little bit different than always having black. I like to wear it with greens, but I like to wear it when I've got like a light coloured lid, like say a white and then like a beige in the crease and then put the green liner. Just looks so pretty. So yeah, these last ages, even though they're little pots, and these are just fantastic holy grail products. So they're definitely worth giving a go, and I've tried lots of gel eyeliner products and these are the only ones I would ever consider using in the future. I tried Rimmel, I tried Maybelline, I tried, I think it was Revlon. None of them, number 17 was awful. None of them have stood up to these, so I would just continue to use these in the future because these never let me down. The next product I'm going to mention is Fix Plus. It has a little bit of controversy about it because some people think it doesn't work. A big makeup artist on YouTube said it's just a waste of time. It doesn't fix your makeup, but I totally disagree. I've said this a number of times. I had this on, I'd had makeup on all day. It keeps your makeup very true. My eyes were incredibly intense, they'd not faded at all. And then we had a flash flood basically. I was out in the pouring rain and I mean literally coming down so much that we had 8 inches of water in the yard and it was flooding in our house. And I was out there for 40 minutes bucketing water out into the street and my eye makeup had not budged. And I don't think that was all down to the eye makeup. I honestly believe it was down to this because I've had a lot of really good experiences with this. I'm halfway down the bottle. I've had this over a year and I use it every day to set my makeup. I just use 2 spritzes and it's fantastic stuff. I really do feel it does a really good job. The other thing I think it does as well is when you spray it on when you're finished, because it's obviously a liquid, it goes onto all the powders that you might have used on your face. You know, you might have powdered or used mineralised foundation or whatever, powder eyeshadows, and I just feel like it settles on the skin and it just melts everything together and makes everything look a lot more natural, a lot more finished. But any water spray will, I guess, do that. I also use Is it here? I love the mineralised charged water. I actually use that after I powder my face, and that will actually melt my makeup together really nicely. I just love how that looks. So it's definitely, I would say, use some kind of a spray product to kind of melt things together. It definitely just gives you a lot more of a finished look, but that's what this does for me. So it finishes everything together and it sets it for the day, and I just love this. I will definitely continue repurchasing it and repurchasing it further because it's a holy grail. The next item I'm going to mention are pigments. Now, I do have a couple of videos on pigments on my channel. I will link the pigments below. I did a pigment collection. I'm going to do a video on how to use them, which I have not had the chance to do yet, but I will do that. It's on my to-do list. So pigments is definitely something else that I think they're an amazing product. They're multi-use. You can do so many things with them. You can wear them on your cheeks, you can use them as highlighters, you can make lipsticks with them, you can do eyeshadows, you can do crazy things with your brows, you can put them in your hair and put streaks of colour in your hair, you can put them in a nail polish and make nail polish. They're insane, the amount of ways that you can use pigments. And the great thing about pigments is, because they're pigmented, a little goes a massively, massively long way. So you don't need a lot to get a great look. So I've got some things to show you. Now I'm going to show you how they originally came. So they originally came in a much larger tub. Price point didn't really change, but now they come in this size, which is actually a lot less. You can also get pigments in little mini sizes. These are called size to go. There's a collection out at the moment which is called size to go, where you can get them in this size. Some people don't use them a lot, so they prefer to get them in a smaller size. I prefer the bigger because I know it's going to last me years. It's not the kind of thing that goes off, so it's very useful for that reason. But this size, this is like one from a sort of a set, which would have been a holiday set. This one is in the colour Naked, which I haven't used it yet, to be fair, because this is a colour I wasn't entirely sure about. But I actually really quite like it now, so I was going to sell it at one point and I'm glad I didn't. It's actually just a really nice peachy champagne sort of colour. So these little things are quite handy. Like I said, they have the old style. This one here is my favourite ever. I use it as bases for most of my looks. I actually have a backup of it. This was limited edition. This one's called Polished Ivory. It is just a beautiful ivory bone sort of colour. It's not creamy. I didn't want a yellow sort of toned base. So Polished Ivory is just a very bone colour. It's really nice. It's not as harsh as white. Really lovely as a base for eye colours. I wanted to show you this one because they also come quite sparkly sometimes. This one is Copper Sparkle, and you can also get glitters. This one is Jewel Marine. So they do come in, again, different sort of formats, which is kind of like their lipsticks and their eyeshadows. They do them in different sorts of finishes. So there's lots of finishes to kind of suit everybody. Copper Sparkle, that's just lightly touching it. You can see how intense that is. So beautiful. Literally, I blended it out there and look how far that has gone. It's a really incredible colour, Copper Sparkle, and I have been using it, but you just need such a tiny amount and it goes such a long way, so they're really impressive for that reason. I also have the Pure White. This is the flat matte one. You can get a pearlised white. I do want to get that in the future, but this is really great for base because it's nice to have a white base if you really want your colours to pop. And they do have some more brighter colours because I kind of showed you a lot of neutrals there. This one is High Def Cyan. Again, this was, I think, a pro item, but it's now available on the store. It's such a beautiful colour. I mean, I'm a sucker for this kind of colour. It's such a beautiful blue. That's what it looks like. I get very scared when I work with pigments though, in case I sneeze or knock them over. But that's the High Def Cyan. And then this one is Process Magenta. And it's just a very, very bright pink, which will make a great lipstick. So pigments, like I said, they're multi-use and a little goes a long way, so that's really great. I'm trying to wipe the swatches off. Look at that fluid line gel. It will not budge. So, yeah, pigments. Multi-use, totally amazing. Such a great array of colours. You often see pigments come out with collections, but there are quite a good range on their website. I purchased quite a few on eBay and from blog sales. which I've been lucky to pick up the colours that I've missed that I really wanted, but they're definitely worth adding to your collection. They can be a little messy to use, but once you've started to use them and kind of got over that nervousness, they're not so bad. I find if you spray your brush with some Fix Plus or any kind of setting spray and then you use the pigment, I always put a little in the lid and use it from there. Having the brush damp actually helps make it stick to the brush better so it's not falling all over your face, and then just pat it straight onto the eye, and patting it works the best, and then work with the blending because you want to pat it on so that there's not too much fallout. You can get fallout with pigments obviously because they're a loose powder, but it's definitely worth it because the finish and the intensity of the colour is just so amazing. I've got some beautiful colours and they look fabulous on, and they are incredibly long lasting. So that's pigments. So the next item are MSFs, or large face sort of powders, like beauty powders. I picked out a selection to show you. My favourite all-time MSF from MAC is Lightscapade. It did have a dome, but as you can see the dome's completely gone. You can see it's very squared off and flat. Lightscapade is my all-time favourite. It's just a very beautiful soft white sort of glow. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on my hand. It's a really nice sort of glow. I love this. It's incredibly natural. You would think with it being white it would be whoa, right in your face, but it's not. Mary Luminizer I find can be very in your face and a little too much, particularly if you're a little bit heavily handed with it, whereas I find that the Lightscapade is a lot more toned down and a lot more natural looking. So Lightscapade is definitely my favourite, but I do have some others to show you. This one is called Blonde, which is in the Blonde and Redhead collection. I love this one because it's a lovely graduated sort of pink, and it's nice to have a pink highlight. I just think it looks nice with my sort of skin tone. And Pure Decoration is also a beautiful one. It did have white around the edge that did come off. You have to be aware that with some of them that look very fancy like this, sometimes some of the actual colour on it is actually sort of sprayed on and won't stay. The flowers are actually quite deeply embossed in it, I think, but it did have white around the edges, which was really pretty. But this is a really beautiful, very soft pink. This one is considered a pearl matte face powder, but I consider it as a highlighter. This one is Veronica's Blush from the Archie's Girl collection. These come in really beautiful packaging. And then from Kelly's collection from the Osbournes, I have Jolly Good, or a mineralised skin finish, sorry I should have said that. But this is quite like a light browny colour. I just find that this just gives my skin a little bit of a lift and some colour as well as a glow. So I really love the Kelly one. And then I've also got a couple of beauty powders. I have the Maleficent one, which is in Natural. Wish they'd kind of given it a better name, but that's very much my skin tone. And then I have the Forever Marilyn from the Marilyn collection. Now these are really great for me being pale because I find that they lighten up the areas under my eyes, down my nose and on my cupid's bow, and sometimes you want to lighten up the centre of your forehead. Anywhere that you really want to lighten, those are fantastic for. So I thought I would mention the beauty powders within this kind of section. But the MSFs from MAC, most of them are limited edition. I do have Soft and Gentle, was the first one I ever got. It's nice, but I'm more into the sort of pink shades and white shades, if I'm honest. I do have quite a collection of MSFs. I do have a video on them, so I will link that one below for you. But they're fantastic. I think they give a beautiful glow to your skin, and some of them do have quite a bit of colour, so you can actually just use them as a blush with highlight, which is really good. But you do get a lot of product in here, and they will last you a long time because a little bit goes such a long way with these. So I highly recommend these. These often come out with collections, and they're usually one of the things that sells out quickly. Lipsticks always sell quickly, and so do MSFs, because they don't carry a huge range of them all the time. It is something that tends to come out with collections, so people tend to jump on them quite quickly. But they are incredibly beautiful, and if you like that glowy sort of skin look, then the MSFs are definitely for you. The next item I'm going to talk about is something that is definitely another holy grail item for me, and it is lip erase. This one's in the fairer shade. It's fair, light, pale, I can't quite remember. But that's what that looks like. I love lip erase. For the first thing, it's incredibly moisturising, so it just feels lovely on your lips. It really conditions them. The other thing is it cancels out the pigmentation of your lips. So if you have very pigmented lips, then this will actually help make it you know, it gets rid of that pigmentation. It makes it a blank canvas for your lipstick to go onto. So if you find that your pigmentation of your lips is very dark and it ruins the colour of the lipsticks that you put on top, or it taints them or changes them to a different colour, then you might want to try something like this. You can use concealers, but they're a lot more drying than this. This is incredibly moisturising, so it's actually really good for your lips. I've had this about 3 years, probably longer. I have an incredible dint in it, but it's still going strong. You can actually buy this in the UK on the MAC site now via the product section, which is really good, because I will need to repurchase it obviously at some point. But as you can see, it's like a full tub and I have an absolute ton of this left. I'm going to get easily another 3 years out of this, and hopefully it will still be good to use. But it's fantastic stuff. I use it because I like the colour of my lipstick to be true to what it is in the tube. I don't have massively pigmented lips, so actually most lipsticks go on me really nice. In fact, I say most, all of them do. My lips are quite pale really, so I'm quite lucky. But I do like to put this on because I just find not only does it cancel out any colour I do have and gives me a more true colour from the lipstick bullet, but also it's really moisturising for my lips as well. So I think that's really good to moisturise your lips, because I don't always remember lip balm, but I always do remember this. So that's very good at conditioning my lips. The other thing is, I do feel like it does help your lipstick stay on a lot longer. It acts very much like sort of a sticky sort of primer base. It doesn't feel sticky to the touch, if you know what I mean, but it kind of sucks the lipstick to it, and I definitely feel it makes it last a lot longer. So I highly recommend Lip Erase. I know they do it in a number of colours, so it's definitely worth checking out. So if you know me, then you will realise that there's definitely a much loved item from MAC. In fact, my most loved item, my most holy grail item from MAC is missing from this top 12. So I'm sure you can all guess exactly what is the last item I'm going to talk about, and that is lipsticks. MAC lipsticks are just my weakness, my passion. Sorry. So yes, definitely a huge weakness for me. I absolutely love them. I love all the different finishes. I'm going to do a video on the different finishes of lipstick. My lovely friend Charlena just did that recently, and it was an amazing video, incredibly informative. I'll link that in the information bar below for you so you can check it out, because it's really worth checking out if you are not sure about what different finishes are. If you're new to MAC and you're not sure what the finishes actually mean, then that's a really good reference video, and I definitely will be doing that myself in the future as well. So I'm going to show you some. This is my favourite red of all time from MAC. This is actually from the Venomous Villains collection. I have a backup of it. In fact, I think I have a backup of my backup of this one. This one's Heartless. It's, oh, I cannot tell you, just, this is such a beautiful red. Let me see. This is a full size. So you can say I've used quite a bit really. Considering that you don't use a lot in one application, so there's quite a lot gone from this lipstick. But Heartless is incredibly beautiful. I find it's just a really good tone for me. Just works really well. It's deep but not too deep. It's a really nice apple sort of red colour, and it just really works well with my skin tone, my eye colour and everything like that. So that one's definitely my favourite red. And I have so many MAC lipsticks. I have not counted them. Somebody asked me to do a collective video once showing them all, but I have so many and I'm not really sure about doing that. I have sold quite a lot recently on eBay, and I did a video sale here on YouTube. I do have some more to sell, so I will be doing another video about those. If you are interested, all instructions will be in the video, but you can check out my previous MAC sale. I'll link it in the information bar below for you. Now, these ones are my Rihanna ones. I keep them in this little heart-shaped thing that I got off eBay. I love these. I would say that my favourite two are definitely Riri Boy, which is a beautiful purple colour, which I hate swatching because I don't want to waste it. I do hope they release this again at some point because it's really, really beautiful. The finish on this one is a retro matte, so it's a very intense matte, because their mattes do have a little bit of a sheen to them. To me, them are almost like a satin matte, whereas a retro matte is completely flat matte. And then the other one that I absolutely love is Ho, which is just a perfect red. That's just one of my all-time favourite colours. I love that one. I try not to wear these a load because I don't have backups, but they sold out very quickly, and at the time I couldn't afford to get backups, but hopefully, like I said, they will re-promote those again. From the Rihanna collection as well, I do love Talk That Talk, another one I wish I had a backup of, because it's so beautiful. But I'm going to see what Lingering Kiss is like in the A Novel Romance collection, because I think it's going to be quite similar. These are some of my most recent purchases. I keep them in here. These are all MAC from different collections recently, and these are ones, but I've also got Heartless in there because it's my favourite red. But these are ones that I can reach for, because rather than mix them in with my collection and not know, because a lot of them are just standard MAC packaging, I can just go onto there and go, right, I really want to wear that colour today. So I just find that that is particularly useful. And then I recycle them back into the collection as they get older and more new stuff comes out. So you can see there I do have my Kelly colours in here from the Osborne's collection. Another favourite red for me, because I love my reds, is Viva Glam 1. I do have a backup of this, but it's now permanent. Viva Glam 1 is so beautiful. I absolutely love this red. It's absolutely gorgeous. I feel so confident when I wear it, so I love that one. Some of my more newer reds are the Pedro Lorenco ones, which I haven't used loads yet, but they're very beautiful. You will see that most of these products have actually had some of a haul video on my channel, so you will have already seen these. I do have Happy Go Lucky, which is a beautiful pink from the Playland collection in there. Pure Heroine, that is not Pure Heroine. Pure Heroine, which is a beautiful, beautiful purple. I love my purples. That's that one there. Really gorgeous. So that's quite recent. And then this one is actually a back to MAC. I took things back to MAC and I got this lipstick here, which is all fired up. And I got Pink Nouveau, and I got this. I didn't even swatch it. This is just one of Lady Gaga's originals. She absolutely loved this colour years ago. This was her go-to MAC colour, Pink Nouveau. So I was like, right, I'm just going to get it because Gaga loved it, because I really love Gaga. So yeah, I got that and I absolutely love it. Why have I not had this in my collection before? Yeah, so lots of favourite sort of colours in there. Then I have my Marilyn lipsticks, which are in this little glass jar that I got from a charity shop. They were 3 for £1, and look how beautiful that imagery is in there. It's so, so pretty. And then I have all of the lipsticks from the Marilyn collection. Did I get them all? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. There are 5 in the collection, and there were 4 reds and 1 neutral. And they're absolutely beautiful. I love the packaging on these. I'm a huge Marilyn Monroe fan, so I do keep those things. That's the Marilyn Monroe stuff displayed in there. I like it separate. And then the majority of my MAC lipsticks are in this, which is a nail polish stand. It's got 4 tiers to it, and you can, like, sort of, as you can see, they're kind of doubled. So you can get a hell of a lot of lipsticks in this, and it was £12, including postage. So very, very good. My reds are on the front, they're my purples, they're my bright pinks, lighter pinks and neutrals onto unusual colours, and blacks, silvers and things at the other end. Okay, sorry, so I have slightly changed format now. The memory on my camera did go. But I do have more in the drawers, but not a great deal. These are the ones that I use a lot, and you might look at that and think, oh my goodness, that's so many. But I do use a different one every day. I don't actually stick to wearing the same colour lipstick every day. I like to change it up, so definitely with having them out on display, I can reach a lot more for them. I will do a video showing you my favourite MAC lipstick colours rather than include it in this video and make it super long, but those are definitely some of my favourites that I've thought of and kind of just shown you straight away just from what's at hand. I will do an upcoming video on my favourite MAC lipstick colours. I do have a video about my favourite MAC reds. I've added a lot more to my collection since then, but I will link that below just in case you do want to see that as well. But I just want to thank everybody for watching as always. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. I'm going to love and leave you there. I've been Spacey's #1 girl, and this is the colour of my kiss.